Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Formula A podcast. This is the British GP preview at Silverstone. Got Kyle and Ryan here today. Our boy Marcus is still out of office, but he'll be back next week. But you got Kyle and Ryan this week. Ryan, how's it going?
Pretty good. Definitely not as good as Marcus, getting to travel and be in his home country of Lebanon. And looks like he's having a great time. We do miss him here.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I'm excited to do a Silverstone preview. And let's dive right into it. Let's give a little ode to Hamilton, let's say. And, he's at his home race once again, along with always a good amount of Brits in F1, I would say. So
yeah.
It's the home race. It's the home race for a lot of guys, but Hamilton's got some pretty good history here. I think it was 2017 or 2016. He won, and the press conference had to be put on hold because he was crowd surfing.
Yeah.
And 2020, making the finish line on 3 tires.
Yep.
That was cool. And that sucked that he didn't have fans for that. That did suck.
That was rough.
Then last year, Pitt maneuvered my boy and sent him into the barriers as the British people cheered on his crack.
Oh.
Kyle and I have been in many arguments over this. But
It's a new year. It happened. It happened. And
you know what? They're both mature guys. I'm sure neither of them forgot about it, but I don't think either of them care anymore.
No, and I also don't think they'll be in a position for that to happen again this year. Like, just being realistic. But
they were close Max coming out of the pits in Montreal.
Yeah. Oh, just losing it on the radio. I know it was like the terrible flashbacks, but
it could happen again.
It could. I mean, Mercedes is looking quicker. I'm just trying to be a bit of a realist, I guess. I mean, yeah, there's been some great wins recently and great races at Silverstone, throughout history. I mean, you got Mansell winning the home Grand Prix, everything like that. Vettel for Ferrari in 2018, the flying formation, trying to send the message. It's one of the best races of the year for sure. Just the history, and yeah.
And it's the home of F1 technically, right? It's a British sport.
Yeah. So
it's a lot of sentimental value going to Silverstone.
Yeah, and there's always home driver. At least, there's always multiple British drivers on the grid. It's the home Grand Prix for many guys, so that's a big deal. And yeah, it's like you said, like Hamilton crowd surfing. I don't even care what team you support. That was so cool. And I'm sure Kimi, well, it was actually Kimi and Valtteri, I think, was the press conference. So 2 Finns, so 2 guys that just don't want to talk and just want to get it over with. Having to wait for him was really funny, but yeah, there's been some good moments, and I think this is going to be a good one too. I don't think we'll see any Hamilton crowd surfing this year, but
hey, you never know.
Yeah, you never know, but it's going to be good. That's all I know. It's going to be wicked. I can't wait.
Yeah.
And
so who do you think out of all the constructors, who does this favor the most? I'll let you pick 2 teams, like a midfield low team and one of the top teams. Who do you think's getting the favored at a track like this year?
So, I mean, it's a tricky one because Silverstone is such a mix of, you've got slow corners, you got big straightaways, and you got fast corners too. It's like a hodgepodge, really. Like if your car isn't like a good all around car, it doesn't matter if you're good in the streets or good in the corners. You got to do everything right. So, that being said, I think the Ferrari actually has the best chance. The car, not the team and the personnel and the strategists, but the car itself, I think has the best shot. So we'll get to our predictions, but that's where I'm putting, that's where my eggs are going, in the Ferrari basket. And for a midfield team, that's a tricky one. I mean,
it is.
This is, generally the most exciting part too, is the midfield battle. But I don't think it's going to be one midfield team that does really good. I think it'd be like a driver, and that driver for me would probably be Bottas. I just think really good experience driving for the top team with Mercedes here, and got a lot of podiums here. I think he'll do really good. And that Alfa Romeo we talked about last week was looking really good, double points. So that'll be. I'll just say Alfa Romeo. I think it's more Bottas. Nothing against Joe, but just his. It's more of his experience that I think is going to help him a lot here. So I'll just say Alfa Romeo. But
Hey, Joe's quick again, huh?
oh, I think he's quick overall. I think he's a really good driver. He's just had some bad luck so far, but yeah, I'll stick with Alfa Romeo. That'll be my midfield team. What about
All
you?
right.
What about you?
I'm kind of leaning the same way. Although the Red Bulls do have a better top speed overall, and they can always run a leaner wing than Ferrari.
Hmm.
I think Max might have an edge over Leclerc when it comes on those big straights, and if he gets within DRS, I can see Max catching him. So I think it'll be a Red Bull favored at the top. I don't think Leclerc will be far behind or give up a fight if they can figure out strategy and a working car. And for the midfield, according to my predictions, I have everybody, but I think the Alpines are going to be quick again.
Okay.
Again, I'm going off the straight line speed. If they can figure out like a wing setup that is nice to their tires and can get them through corners quickly and still be fast on the straights, then I think Alpine will pull it together. I'm really excited to see Alonso at Monza this year.
Yeah, I know. You said that last, or was it 2 episodes ago?
2 episodes
So
ago, yeah.
I'm just rubbing my hands waiting for that Monza race because I want to see like your Alonso podium prediction. If you don't have him, I know this is so we're just way down the road, but if you don't have Alonso in like a top four, I think podium prediction. I don't know where else he would get it. That would be my pick, but
Well, we're either going to look like fucking wankers or fucking rock stars.
so,
The great goon.
yeah. And good thing about his accent is that he's not actually swearing. It's totally different wording, so we can get away with that one. Yeah. So
Double O.
you want to just get into our predictions then, since we've sort of jumped right
Yeah.
into it. Yeah. You've got them in front of you, so I'm gonna let you read them off.
All right, I'll just dive right into it. For myself, top 8 predictions. I have Verstappen taking the win. Don't want to jinx that, but I did not last time. Leclerc, second place. Sainz, third. Perez, fourth. I kind of don't know why I did that, but just jumble it up a little bit, but really not that much. Alonso, fifth. Ocon, sixth. Vettel, seventh. And Norris, eighth.
Interesting. So
Some
you're
bolts.
double downing on the Alpines. I like it.
Double downing on the Alpines and kind of hoping some people have some bad day. Because that's really the only way I think Vettel and Norris are going to creep their way up.
And
If room is some made. And if everyone noticed, there's a team that is absent from my list, which is extremely bold.
just gonna say that. Yeah.
Going to come to life, but let's see.
Interesting.
All right, so Kyle, you have Leclerc, Verstappen, Russell, home race,
Yep.
Perez, Hamilton, home race, 2 places behind his teammate, Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Valtteri Bottas.
Yes. So
Rounding off your top.
yeah, I think Mercedes is doing good. I think they're getting better, and I think home race. I think they're going to be energized. 2 British drivers, teams based in Britain, like many other teams, but I think they're going to do good.
Maybe they're so energized they don't give each other space.
Interesting. Little Alonso block on Hamilton in the pit lane in 07.
A little Rosberg Hamilton Spain.
Yeah, that could happen too, but
I honestly hope not. I hope not, because
yep. Oh,
has Hamilton signed a deal for next year?
he hasn't. You were a little bit frozen there, by the way. I didn't catch some of that.
I asked that was all I asked was, has Hamilton signed a deal for any future years?
I don't think so, but I think he just takes it 1 year at a time, and It's
Well, there's
hard.
always that fear and allure that this could be, and it's crazy to say this, Hamilton's last home race.
It's
I don't think so, but
possible, yeah.
it's kind of always there. This could be Vettel's last Silverstone.
I think it's his last Silverstone, personally. I'd be surprised if he was back next year. Hamilton, I think, definitely will be back next year. Vettel, I'm still sticking with it. I know the team's gotten better recently in the last few races, but I, I just think this would be the end of it for him. I'm sticking with it.
I like Hamilton doing this too, but Vettel's priorities, you can kind of tell in life, are starting to change.
Yes.
He's not so much focused on everything that's happening just around him. The world's a big concern for him and world issues, and not to get political, but I just think he might, obviously he's going to have the money and the financial to go do whatever his heart desires for the rest of his life.
Yeah.
I could definitely see him just saying, you know what, I'm going on to different things.
Yeah, I could see that, and yeah, I just like we said before, I don't really think he's enjoying pedaling around the back and trying to just scrape some points together when he can. Just don't really think that's him.
Yeah.
That's in his interest. So yeah, I think it'd be his last run. But yeah, that's our predictions. We've got one other. I know Marcus is not here, but he did write his predictions in for us, so we're gonna read them out for him. What's he got, Ryan?
If there is a beeping sound coming through, my apologies as I'm getting a phone call. I will be ignoring it.
Don't got it.
Top 8 for Marcus. He's got Leclerc as well. Verstappen as well. So you two will be tied if you get that correct.
Yeah.
He has Sainz. Then Russell for 4th. Then Perez for 5th. Gasly for 6th. Hamilton down in 7th. And Alonso 8th. So,
man,
that's a nice jumble of choices.
That's a good one.
For all of us.
Yeah. The Gasly in 6th place on his new deal, too. Maybe energized by that.
Yeah, Gasly's 6th place would actually be pretty impressive.
Yeah, so I like that. Shouts out to Marcus. That's a good list. I dig it.
Yeah, they're all good picks. I think the only one that's actually not good is mine. It's just I decided I'm going bold in hopes that I don't even know. But I'm going to go bold and see if it comes to life.
I wouldn't discount those Alpines, man. I think you caught fire with those guys. You know what? If they could teach their strategists and how to run a race, then it's right there for them.
But you know what it is, right? You know where they got their speed from.
Where they get it from?
They listened to this podcast and they got excited.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course.
Yeah, they got to. We got to do it for Kyle and Ryan.
Yeah,
they're shut out. Like we got to make them fast.
We're supporters of El Plan. Like I hope you guys know that, and we want to see it come to fruition. We want to see Alonso doing good, and I think more than actually the team wants it. So,
speaking of El Plan, do you think that that reporter will be there this year that asks Hamilton? Hamilton, has now 5 years to write that book?
Oh my goodness! Oh, what's his name?
I don't know his name.
Walter Coaster, something like that. So that old German guy.
For anyone who has no idea what we're talking about, go on YouTube and just look up F1 best press conferences. It'll be in almost any of the press conferences, but there's one reporter who's got the best questions. They're super long. I don't know how to say this without coming off rude, but the questions are not very clear. There's like 5 questions in one, and a lot of the drivers handle it in a very humorous way. I won't give it away. If you haven't seen it, you should go see it.
Yeah, they go on for a long time, and the driver reactions are hilarious, and like everybody knows the guy. He's just become a legend in the paddock for his ridiculously long questions, and they're great.
Could you repeat the question?
But yeah, the context was that he asked Hamilton years ago why they switched mechanics between him and Rosberg before the last race, and Hamilton basically just said, I'll write a book in 10 years and you can read about it there. And he kept reminding him about the question and the answer, and he kept
I want to
asking
say
him.
he got reminded. The question was asked in 2016,
Yeah.
and then I think he got reminded in 2018. Don't quote me on those years,
Yes. And it was
or
a
drop comments below on the right years.
yeah, I think it was 2018, but then Alonso just kept egging the guy on, just saying like, I remember the question. Super funny. Yeah, go on YouTube. I think the guy's name is Walter Coaster. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the guy's name. Again, you can just type in longest F1 interview
Question.
question, and it'll probably be that guy.
Yeah, that'll come up almost immediately.
Yeah, so that's hilarious. I hope he's there. I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. Um, yeah, so plans in full swing. And just going back to Marcus's P6 there with Gasly, he signed a new deal
Yep.
for next year with
Yep.
AlphaTauri.
Which you
Which,
slightly mentioned that he's going to have that energy,
yeah,
that P6 energy. You know what? Maybe. How long do you sign for? Just 1 year?
just 1 year. Yep.
Just 1 year. It makes you wonder, eh? Like, a lot of teams are snatching up the young drivers and putting them on massive plans.
Yeah.
So if the Red Bull family still like Gasly, and they don't want him to go anywhere, I'm surprised he didn't get a multi-year mega deal with AlphaTauri.
Yeah, it's weird.
It might be him not interested in it.
Yeah, it might be him not interested, and honestly, I don't think I know he wants the Red Bull seat back. I don't think he'll ever get it back. I think doesn't matter how good he does. Yeah, I just think Helmut Marko is just and Horner are just too proud to put him back in there. They don't want to admit like they were wrong or something. I think he had his shot.
That on top of the fact that Gasly dragged Red Bull pretty hard in the media.
Oh yeah, he was not good. Like I won't sugarcoat it. Like he sucked when he was up there, and it didn't work out. And I think they'd look at that and be like, you know what, he just can't handle it. But I guess maybe they still want him there as like a backup plan. Maybe I'm not sure. That's all I could really think of. And we know Gasly was like exploring other options. He wants to be like a number one guy in a better team, but so
where
that's
are you gonna go?
Yeah. Where are you gonna go? I mean, Hamilton.
I think we touched on it.
Yeah, Hamilton. I don't think is walking away at the end of this year, and Red Bull has arguably.
Would you take Gasly? I don't know.
Earlier in the season, that was my prediction. Like if Hamilton retires, I think Gasly's the guy to go. That goes and fills that seat. Mainly because I mean, obviously he's performing really well in AlphaTauri and like picking up a few podiums in a car that has no business being on a podium. But I think Toto would just love nothing more than to take a guy away from Red Bull. Personally, I think he would love that.
Yeah, but you also got to pick a driver that's going to be able to deliver in what's supposed to be a championship winning team.
Yeah.
So if you are Toto and you're going to steal somebody, would you be walking up to Zach Brown and Lando Norris and going, I'm giving you this check, cut up his contract, he's mine now?
Oh yeah, I mean, wow, that caught me by surprise actually.
Didn't see that coming.
No, I didn't see it coming. That was, I mean, if you're gonna pick a guy, like Lando is like one of the hottest talents, I wouldn't be too surprised. Yep. So maybe it would have worked before, but I don't know. That's a tricky one, but yeah, there's just so few seats, right? And when you're trying to decide who you want to sign, and then you gotta, who wants to go where. This is why this Gasly announcement is actually a lot bigger than maybe some people think, because most people had him leaving, and that was gonna start up a big jumble of team changes, right? And now he's not leaving. So what's gonna happen? I mean,
yeah,
right. Another option that people did discuss was Gasly maybe going to McLaren if they were gonna get rid of Ricciardo, but that's not gonna happen. I think if anything, Ricciardo will get re-signed now. Zach Brown kind of, supported him earlier this week after there was some confusion. I guess people thought like Zach Brown didn't want him anymore, but he cleared the air on that.
Yeah, he made sure his intentions and his attitude towards Rick were known that it's good.
Yeah.
Or to quote, never been better. So that's pretty strong. I think after Montreal, he did beat Norris again. And it wasn't the car. that was not the driver. Sorry. That was the car.
No.
That was a poor performance on the car. There was frustration in both the drivers, which sucks to see. I want to see McLaren back.
Oh, trust me, so do I. And I know I can speak on Marcus's behalf too. He wants them back as well. But actually, yeah, if you notice, this is the first time I have not put a McLaren in my top 8 predictions.
I noticed it.
It pained me to do it, but it's like, why should I? I don't really have much faith after that Montreal performance. It was awful. So
you're from Spain without the S right now.
Yeah, literally.
Right.
I'm from Painville, and I'm the mayor, and it sucks. Yeah, it's a tough go, man.
Oh,
hot
take, and we did not even brief what I'm about to bring up, so this is a surprise for Kyle. Will the trend continue? Something bad is going to happen to Verstappen's points lead, and it's going to shift at Silverstone again.
Ooh, interesting.
Now, I'm not saying someone's going to hit him. I'm not saying he's going to crash, but just something. Whether he DNFs, whether maybe Sainz torpedoes him, maybe who knows? Who knows what happens? But do you think it will happen again? Well, according to your predictions, not really.
No, I think, well, again, like, we do these predictions, like, it's hard to really predict if someone's going to crash or whatever. I just, we mainly just do them based on performance-wise, who we think's going to do the best, but I don't think
cars that cracks, etc.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen again. Like, I don't think there's, like, any, like, looming curse over him. I still think Leclerc and Ferrari have the best chance to win this race as long as they don't do Ferrari things. But I don't think he's going to take any huge hit in his points total. I mean, it's just as long as he's finishing the race, it's first or second. It just seems for Verstappen, he's just that good. The car combo is so good, and I don't really think he's going to be in a position where he's going to have somebody just drill him off into the wall. However you want to see who was at fault. I'm not even going to open that can of worms again, but I don't think there's any curse or anything. I think he'll be fine. Personally. Right. Yeah.
Now, do you think the Brits will boo him? That's a tricky question for you because Kyle's background is British.
Yeah, I do.
You're not like a Hamilton fanboy, but you would definitely support him more than I could go ahead and say myself.
Yeah, if I have my pick, like I'm still a Hamilton fan. Right? It comes from his McLaren days. So,
yeah.
Like there's there's goons and there's idiots at every race, and there was idiots last year at that race. And I don't care where you're from. I don't care if you're Canadian or British or whatever. Like, I don't care where you're from. If you do stupid stuff, you're an idiot. And there might be some stupid people there. I think as a whole, I don't think they would just boo him just for the sake of booing him.
And I do agree with that. There's bad apples on every tree.
Yeah. So, I don't think so. As a general consensus, I think most people just be like, whatever. What happened last year happened. It's a new race. It's a new championship. There's a different battle for the championship lead going on. I don't really think it's their concern.
Totally different dynamics now.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think so. I think they'll have a little bit of class, Just enjoy the race, man.
Yeah.
It's. And like we said, though, it's a different dynamic. That was the heat of the championship, I guess. Maybe got to people. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna boo him if something happens between him and Leclerc, though. For example, I think they would just, it's racing, whatever. It happens. Yeah, it happens. Yeah,
Speaking of dynamics and heat, what do you think of this new RB hypercar, Red Bull hypercar?
I think there are a lot of very smart people at Red Bull. Um, this is a well, it's just announced like this morning, actually, right before we started recording, that they're building this track on
I
the.
haven't even. You're the one that's all knowledge on this. I haven't even read up on it at all. I just saw the thumbnail in our little group chat.
Yeah, so I guess I'll give a bit like a quick bit of context here. It's an Adrian Newey designed like hypercar, not like the Aston Martin Valkyrie. This is like a fully like Red Bull branded hypercar. It's their own thing. The RB17, I think it's called. It's like an 1100 horsepower turbo V8 hypercar, track only. It's gonna be really sick. Obviously, it's gonna look cool. It's gonna be fast as hell, and it's gonna be wicked. And Adrian Newey designing it. It's gonna be one of the best things on the market. But why it's important and why I think Red Bull are super smart, the brain is just too big for them to handle right now. There's a budget cap in F1, and they're Christian Horner was talking about a lot of teams might have to break the budget cap and take penalties. Well, what's a way to avoid that? Let's build a track-only hypercar that we can put a bunch of F1 tech in because there's no limits on street regulations for it. And let's use that stuff to develop our F1 car without putting any money towards budget cap. I think that's a fantastic idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I wonder if there is an FIA regulation. Because, is there a rule that's saying if I just strap a windshield to my Halo of my F1 car, put some LEDs on the front of it, and then call it something else, and then does that still fall under budget cap? Is that allowed?
I don't think
there's got to be some sort of ruling. I'm no FIA regulation expert, so I really can't say. Because I'm sure if they were allowed to do that, that would have been done, or it is being done as we speak with this RB17.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think they have been working on it. They just announced it now. I mean, I don't think like Adrian Newey woke up this morning and was like, yeah, I'm gonna strap a hypercar together. Why not? I think they've been doing this for months, and they just announced it now. And I don't think there's any rule or anything. I mean, maybe down the line. I'm sure.
Sorry, I think I worded that wrong. Is there a rule about producing a car that's too close to an F1 car?
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Ooh, so this could be a loophole. This could be a big loophole that they found.
I think it's a huge loophole. And this is what F1's been about for a long time, is guys find loopholes and they do really well with it. Right? There was 2009 Braun double diffuser, right? Wiped the floor with everybody. They found a loophole and they used it, and they did really good with it. And this is, I think, Red Bull are doing the same with this hypercar.
I don't think the Mercedes W11 found any loophole specifically, but they just engineered the best formula and it showed.
Yeah. I think it was DAS. DAS was a loophole. I'm gonna label that as a loophole.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. DAS was a loophole. Was there any loopholes on the F2004? That was potentially the infamous fastest F1 car ever produced.
Not that I can think of, but I mean that was Ross Brawn, I believe, was at Ferrari too. So yeah, that guy was just good at everything.
Yeah, I think many episodes ago I went on about how if Ross Brawn does anything, I just trust it because he's a genius.
Yeah. So,
him and Adrian Newey, just whatever they do, I'm like, just go ahead, I trust you.
Whenever I see Adrian Newey walking around the grid with his old notebook and his pencil, I'm like, this guy's he's cooking. Something's in the works.
That guy's brain doesn't shut off.
Yeah. So I think this is a huge. I think this is the smartest thing and they could have done. To be honest, really, I got to tip my cap to them. I think they found a huge loophole, and anything that they think.
If your theory is correct.
Yeah. If my theory is correct, yeah.
I want to say, because I haven't even read the article yet, you were probably the first one to come up with that theory. So others start repeating that. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Look, this car got
Formula
announced this
A.
morning, and we were already covering it. So you guys want all the breaking hot takes and all like the huge juicy gossip? It's right here. So I think this is a huge idea. Now down the line, if people start seeing some similarities, like if they show up with an upgrade package at a race and people are like, that seems awfully a lot like something that you might see on some track-only hypercar, I think there will be Totos and Mattias complaining.
Well, hold on. Has Ferrari been able to do that with any of their hypercars?
Maybe at some point. I mean, because I mean, this is going way back, but like the Ferrari F50 was like their like F1 tech for the road, like back in the 90s. But that was again a road car, right? So again, they had to like obviously limit a bunch of stuff.
Same with the McLaren F1?
Yeah, so those are road cars.
Literally called the F1.
Yeah, but again, they have to limit a lot of stuff because it's a road car and they've got to meet regulations. With this Red Bull being track only, there's really no limits to what they can do. That's why I think this is a whole different ball game. I mean, maybe Ferrari, they've done a lot of track hypercars too, obviously, but I don't know if they've ever really been distinctly linked to the F1 car. But this Red Bull, I mean, they don't even make road cars. They don't produce any cars. It's an energy drink company, right? So this is 100%.
It's barely an energy drink.
Well, it started out. I'll say that. I'll reword it. They started as an energy drink company. Now they're in everything. Yeah. So
that is true. It's the origins. But anyway, what did I hear on the news? The rumors that Sauber is potentially making a deal.
Yeah, we had a little blurb on that too. That's wow. Yeah, there's been like huge stuff this past week. This isn't official, but there was an unnamed team boss. I just want to put out there, it's not official, so we're not claiming it, but it is a juicy rumor. There was an unnamed team boss who said that Audi had already purchased 25% of Sauber, and after the new 2026 engine regs get announced, they will announce that it's like 75%, like full takeover, and they're coming into F1. So that's interesting.
The reason I brought it up, to your theory, if Audi bought Sauber and Audi and Porsche are in the same automotive division, Porsche is arguably one of the top experts in building hypercars that are track only.
Yeah.
So will they be able to bring an insane amount of development to the constructor side of things, if your theory is correct? I think they will.
I think they would. You've got one of the all-time great car manufacturers, just with a wealth of knowledge, and you mix that with guys like Adrian Newey at Red Bull, and that would just be a mega team, honestly. I don't think it could possibly fail. So
yeah, I don't see Porsche going with Red Bull anymore if Audi is joining Sauber.
Really?
Well, why would they? If you think about it.
I mean,
right? That would be like you're fighting yourself, right?
Yeah. But I mean, they could say Audi is the development team. They could be the new.
Yeah, that's true. Red Bull did win 4 world champions with a Renault engine, and Renault never really did anything to sabotage them or stop it, really.
Yeah, I just think, well, it's, maybe a factory team didn't win, but it's still our engine, so I think they just look at it as like, whatever. It's still our engine powering the winning car, so what's the difference? Yeah, that would just be, if that is true, if that did happen, like Audi Sauber, because they're Ferrari, obviously, right now, it would change. Again, like, I wonder how Ferrari would react to that. They would only have Haas as a development team then. And then now Red Bull, because they still have AlphaTauri, obviously. Do they have 2 development teams now? It's a little bizarre. And that's why I'm like, I still want to hear. There'd be so many more details we'd have to hear about this to figure out like the logistics of how it would work. But it's an interesting prospect. it sounds interesting. It's not out of the realm of possibility. So, yeah, but I just think there'd be a lot of
Nope.
Ferrari saying that's our team, and I think there'd just be a lot of back and forth between like a lot of teams before they could actually settle on something or make it official. But the fact that it's out there is pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And like we said, this is all just rumors at the moment. But speaking of being out there, a topic that also hit the news this week that we're not proud of or really want to bring up, but I feel like we have to. Yuri Vips, young up and coming Formula open wheel racing driver, has been officially fired, correct, from Red Bull?
Yeah, it's official now.
Yeah, for saying a racial slur, which was incredibly silly on his part. And I heard some people almost try to defend him, saying that he's not that guy and it's an educational issue. And I'm going to go ahead and just strongly disagree. Not an educational issue. The education is out there. And if you don't know the background of that by now, you need to give your head a shake and come out from the rock you live under, in my opinion, if I'm going to be harsh about it. Yeah. And then we have Mr. PK. PK said the same thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was directed at Hamilton?
Yes, that was I like it was something in Portuguese that he said. And I think it was like back from a November interview, and I don't know why it just resurfaced now, but yeah,
I don't even remember that when it originally happened. But that's still, regardless, it's
yeah.
So I hope Hamilton had hell of a home race and just shoves it in PK's face.
Yeah, that would be nice. And I'm sure PK doesn't like him just because of the Verstappen connection. I'm not labeling Verstappen with any of that. I'm just saying from PK's point of view. I mean, he probably just doesn't like Hamilton because of the family connection or whatever. But yeah, it's nothing new from PK, honestly. He said some really stupid things in the past. I mean, he said things about Mansell in the past. He said some bad stuff about Senna in the past too. It's too bad. He's a 3-time champion, and he was such an amazing driver, but he just says a lot of stupid things. And it's just terrible time with the Yuri Vips thing too, right? It all just does not look good for Red Bull. So
yeah, it's all kind of in the Red Bull house.
Yeah,
in some form or another, which it's a bad look.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, never like to hear that, but
that is a bit of a Kyle theory, so don't take it too much to heart. Kyle is not on a day-to-day basis with the Verstappens or the PKs, so take what Kyle says with a grain of salt. But I don't think you're far off though.
With with him not liking Hamilton because of the family connection.
Yeah. I think
I don't think that's too outlandish. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think like people who say stuff like that, so I can't really relate to their thoughts, but regardless.
Yeah.
Ugly stuff. No one likes to see it, and we'll keep that section short because, what they said sucks. So moving on, let's leave on a high note. What other pointers we got for this episode? Prediction.
Well, yeah, and I know there was some other F1 industry news. They talked about their net zero carbon whatever 2030 plan.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I know they want to be super eco-friendly or whatever, and they want to remote TV production and I don't know, electric transport vehicles, whatever stuff like that. It's good to see the initiative, I guess, and they're looking to help. It's always nice, but it's a huge. That stuff plays a big part in the 2026 engine regs too, which are supposed to be announced relatively soon. I think at some point in July. And most people, the reason why it's big is with these, they're using the sustainable fuels and everything for these new engines, but supposedly once they announce these new engine regs is when Porsche and Audi are supposed to officially announce that they're coming in. So that could be a big part of it. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll get some new updates on the those engine regs and the new fuel sustainability stuff and how they want to manage that. But there's a lot going on in F1. A lot of development, a lot of new tech stuff, and potentially some new engine manufacturers. It's a pretty exciting time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
ESPN bought the rights again.
Yep.
I think till 2025 or 2024 for $70 million. So
Crazy, man.
with a figure like that, it's a good look for F1. It's
just crazy.
Good time to be a fan. Good time to be in the sport.
Yeah, it's only getting bigger. It's never gonna stop. So that's huge. It's nice to see. I absolutely love to see it. All the growth and all the money that's being poured into it. It's wicked. And yeah, it's exciting times. Really exciting times. I just hope with the new engines that I hope they can make them sound a little better.
Yeah.
I do kind of miss old sounds, so yeah, hopefully they can.
So would you be okay with like taking the hybrid unit and turning that into like an extra 2 cylinders and then taking the turbo and converting that into another 2 cylinders and you just have a V10 again? Problem solved.
There you go. That's a big brain right there. See, well, I'm assuming they're sticking with 6 cylinders. I'll just assume that. But I just remembered that Red Bull Hypercar is a turbo V8. Do they have some intel that the 2026s might be V8s? That would be cool.
That would be more spicy than Mercedes just randomly having 2 floor stays ready to go in Montreal.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, dude, we could. Yeah, there's a lot of good conspiracies out there. I could throw a tinfoil. I could throw a tinfoil hat on, and just go on for days. But yeah, no, that's yeah. Don't believe everything you hear. I'm sure they'll stick with 6 cylinders, but it would be kind of funny if they did change.
And by the way, I harped on the rear floor stays, the double floor stays. Really, guys, all it was threaded rod and some turnbuckles, and they drilled a hole in the floor. Like, it wasn't rocket science.
No, but again,
like, if you have the materials, that does not take a long time to whip up.
Yeah, but again, it's politics. So the team bosses.
No, it's all
they will say whatever.
Never end.
Yeah.
The team principals will always pick at each other, no matter what.
Yeah, so they will say whatever.
You'll never hear Christian Horner go, "I'm so proud of Mercedes.
Yeah.
They got that second year stay together so fast. Good for them." You'll never hear that ever.
Yeah, it's a brilliant job from them, really. Yeah. No, that would never happen. Yeah.
All right, Kyle, do we have anything else to touch on? I don't think so.
I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed that, because we sure did. That was jam-packed.
Yeah.
Tons of stuff. So, yeah, Silverstone this weekend, and super excited. We hope you guys are too, and we can't wait to see our predictions come true.
Oh. Wait.
Yes.
Wait. One last point.
Billy Mays, there's more. Yeah.
Is there a sprint this weekend?
No.
I don't know.
I don't think, no. I think it's Austria and Brazil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There was a sprint last year at Silverstone? Yes, there was.
Last year they had one, yeah.
Yes. So that's why I thought. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay, no sprint.
No
never
sprint.
mind.
Yeah, standard race, qualifying to race. It's going to be sick. Can't wait. And, yeah, we'll talk to you guys next week and recap the whole thing for you. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you then.